Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. Then we can be assured that other nations will not treat America with respect, the respect that we deserve.
What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video. And today, we are doing a video of a state that I never thought I would talk about. We've had a lot of that lately. First, it was, Connecticut, Illinois, Oregon, Washington. Now we're talking about New York. New York. This isn't, some Republican stronghold. No. This is a Democrat stronghold for years. Well, according to a recent poll, again, we'll get to this in a minute, Lee Zeldin, the real frontrunner for the Republicans, is tied, if not beating, Empress Hooch in the recent governor's poll. Again, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying Lee Zeldin's going to win or anything like that. A new poll, however, shows Zeldin's ahead of the Empress herself, Hooch. Now, before I forget, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes. Now, before I forget, I think Red Eagle did a video on this 2 or 3 days ago. I didn't watch it. I didn't get any ideas from it. I just heard of this poll. That's where I got this idea to do a video. So if this seems like an inconvenience to some of you guys, very sorry, but I gotta talk about this. This is a rare opportunity to talk about frickin' New York. What's next? Vermont? Don't jinx me. Don't do it. The point is this. Lee Zeldin is apparently tied with Empress Hooch. Yeah, I call her Empress Hooch because she acts like she's the Empress of frickin' New York State. But the point is this. Lee Zeldin is somehow winning against the Hooch. Again, I'm not saying this. This is not what I believe. What is happening, however, is a pollster by McLaughlin. McLaughlin is one of those pollsters, which, once again, we don't really trust polls, but every now and again, that guy somehow gets spot on in some of these races. But the other half of the time, let's just say, it's usually off by a lot. So keep in mind with this poll. The point is this. With races like this, they tend to be more correct on, random states like New York. They tend to be more accurate with. Now, you scroll down here and you would think, okay, maybe they oversample Republicans by a lot. Well, not so much. 50% of the people that took this poll is Democrat. In a state like New York, yeah, that's about right. 27% are Republican. So it's a D+23 electorate in New York. Pretty freaking reasonable, in my opinion. Again, yes, I am biased, obviously, but point is this. New York, party ID-wise, is probably like D+20. At most, probably. So this may, in fact, undersample Republicans, or, the conservative party. But again, the conservative party in New York, nobody gives a shit about them. They get, no votes each year. They endorse a Republican each year. So yeah, nobody cares about this. But the point is this. This poll does also show some very striking trends. That Zeldin also has one thing. The energy factor. Again, we don't usually talk about this. I think, the energy factor is important, but I don't think it's the number one thing. What do I mean by that? Look at this. 36% of voters, of all voters, are definitely going to vote for Lee Zeldin. Only 28% said they're going to definitely vote for the Hooch. In New York, this is supposed to be opposite. This is supposed to be like 40-20, not 36-28 the other direction. This is not a good sign for Democrats if this is true. I mean, the energy factor has always benefited Democrats in a state like New York. That's why it's very rare for a Republican to win a state race there now. But Zeldin may do it. Zeldin may be able to pull off the miracle. And you look at the rest of this poll, I mean, the Hooch has a negative approval rating, which I actually firmly believe that may be the case. I just think that this would be like a California scenario where Newsom's approval rating's like 48%, but he still gets like 58% of the vote. But still, it's underwater. In a state like New York, that's not that good. And like usual, there's also the Biden approval rating. Down the frickin' tubes. Again, according to this pollster. But the point is this. This is not going to be like the California race. I'm not going to go around here saying Republicans are going to win it. However, it's going to be, closer than expected, in my opinion. It's not going to be like California where everyone thought it was going to be close. It was a wet fart. The reason that Republicans underperformed in California was because, Larry Elder blew it. He completely botched it. I don't know what he was doing the past month, or the last month of the campaign. Here, you have a bit more of a competent campaign. And also, the number 2 and number 1 issues of voters are ones that favor Republicans by 70-30 at times. Crime and taxes. Now, everybody knows the tax stuff, that spiel about taxes, 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 taxes. That's all Republicans at times run on. And I'm always against it. Again, I love lower taxes. In fact, I would love paying 0% taxes. But the point is this. Many people don't give a flying fuck what the tax rate is for corporations. Well, in a state like New York, where for everything you do, I think at this point you may breathe and you get taxed for it. People are pissed off about this. I mean, every single thing in New York is taxed, 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 and going to some welfare plan that nobody benefits from. And that's why in a state like New York, a state like Connecticut, running on tax reform does matter because people actually care about it. As for crime, though, yeah, Republicans at times botched it, but they are starting to get significantly better with this issue. Again, they're not shilling like Tim Scott tried to do. They realized, okay, what Tim Scott tried to pull about the whole police reform crap, nobody approved of it. People want harsh sentences to these thugs, absolute thugs on the streets. And I'm not talking about people that smoke, marijuana. I'm talking about the drug dealers. I'm talking about the murderers. I'm talking about all that stuff. I mean, the current crime system in America is a joke. I mean, seriously, have you seen all these reports lately about, the pedophile down the street only gets 12 months of parole, but someone that smokes weed gets 10 years of prison? That's bullshit. I mean, that's why people are getting sick and tired of the crime. Because it's so easy to solve. And Lee Zeldin, who, by the way, we'll get to in a second, actually is running on fixing the crime issue in New York. So who is Lee Zeldin anyways? Well, in a nutshell, he's one of the better Republicans in New York. And he was a former congressman, well, still technically congressman, but he's retiring. He's not running for re-election for Congress. Mostly because his Long Island district's dead. It's just dead. It's gone. And at first I thought, okay, Lee Zeldin, I like the guy. I thought he's going to run a crappy campaign. Somehow, his issues actually matter to people. When you look at his issue page, there's 4 main topics. Securing our streets, protecting your wallets, defending your freedoms, fighting for your kids. These are 4 things Republicans win 90-10 margins on for voters that vote on those issues. And it does appear that Zeldin's focusing especially in law and order and tax reform. Again, those are the 2 issues that are the bread and butter for most people in New York. And he's not running about we need to, make the drug dealers, have less sentences. No, he's like, look at this. Just awesome, very good platform on crime. Considering this is New York, I mean, all this stuff alone would fix so much of the issues in New York. I mean, I like the idea of, just repeal cashless bail. That is just a scam. I mean, if you get arrested for something, there should be bail involved. Not this crap you just go away, just, don't do it again. No, bail now. So that's good stuff. Now the question is this. Can Zeldin actually win? Can he pull a Youngkin-style upset? Well, it gets complicated because New York, everybody knows New York. New York. The issue with New York is, unlike Virginia, is this. With Virginia, you have a huge rural population. At the same time, you have a significant suburban population. Again, real suburbs. And the suburban vote, while it has been trending Democrat, at times are willing to vote Republican, like we saw it with Youngkin, if they see a good candidate. Well, in New York, I mean, yeah, you got New York City, but, the suburbs of New York City are a joke. They're just New York City. That's all it is. And plus, the real, I guess you could say, suburban parts of this New York City area is probably like, Long Island, but there's not enough votes there. There's flat out, there's not enough votes in Long Island. I mean, even if Zeldin does magically well here, like wins like 60% of the vote here, it's still not enough. You have to crack the ironclad that is New York City. You have to win, Richmond County or, Staten Island by a lot. You have to somehow flip Rockland, have to flip Westchester, well, not flip, but just get closer. And you have to make sure you do nearly the best you can in every single part of New York City, and have to have rural turnout at the maximum. And then you may have a chance. Can Lee Zeldin do it? Well, I mean, maybe. It's one of those things, though, where he needs every single thing to go right. Again, Zeldin can significantly do better in Long Island, but it's not enough. Yeah, that's 1 million votes, but Cuomo won by 1.4 million votes. So you gotta find 1.4 million votes somewhere. And most of that has to come from the New York City, Long Island, and the rural parts of the state. That's the 3 areas. So essentially the entire state, you gotta do significantly better. But again, it comes down to Rockland, in my opinion. Rockland flips if, Suffolk flips, Nassau flips, and also Richmond. I get AK Staten Island. If these counties flip, and, places like Erie County, Monroe, Onegana, even Albany, if those counties are also close, then yeah, there's a serious chance of this race going, into a toss-up category. But the problem is this, at the same time of doing great there, you have to do great in Essex, you have to do great in Franklin, because if you underperform Trump in a lot of these counties, there's literally no chance of winning. It's impossible to win New York without getting Trump-level margins in the rules. Mostly because New York City is just so freaking Democrat that you have to get perfect numbers in the rules to counteract New York City. So again, you gotta find 1.4 million votes somewhere. It's not just gonna come from Long Island or just New York City, but you gotta get nearly perfect turnout in the rest of the state. Again, is that gonna happen? That's questionable. But if it does happen, thank God Lee Zeldin's your next governor. So that's all I will say. But again, I'm not saying it's to go Democrat, or I'm not saying it's to go Republican. All I'm saying is this: if he gets perfect turnout in the rules, does significantly better in Long Island, flips a couple of the New York City counties. I'm talking about Staten Island and I guess you could call Rockland, part of the rest of the state. If he does great, here, he's probably going to win. But again, that's everything goes perfectly. Again, Youngkin had everything go his way, and he still won by like 2 points. So here in New York, you need everything and then some to go perfectly just to win. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.